Okay, well, we definitely have a couple things to talk about here on this Friday morning. So real quick, Pat, we're going to start with Wolves. You've been on the road driving here this morning. Are you aware of what happened to
Yes.
Scottie Scheffler this morning? Okay.
No, no.
Oh my
What?
God, this is going to be great. Okay. So we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's start with Timberwolves here. Let's start with Timberwolves with Reusse
Okay.
on the road.
There's, I got to tell you, there's nothing you can tell me about Scottie Scheffler that will surprise me after last night. I now believe in aliens and any other thing. After watching this series, anything is possible this world has got strange creatures walking all over the place, and all these movies that I've thought were science fiction are not science fiction. They're just it's really true. I mean, this is the damnedest thing I have ever seen in my life, and it's a great series that's had one fairly close game, right? The
Yep.
first one was the only one that we kind of wondered who might win with 5 minutes to go, right? Well, we thought the Wolves were going to win, but we that one was the last five have been basically blowouts, but it's unbelievably compelling anyway. I mean, last night you just sat there and watched that and said, what in God's name is going on here? It
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, Judd and I were sitting next to each other. It's the craziest Target Center's been probably in 20 years, and it's been crazy throughout these playoffs a couple different times. But the atmosphere. By the way, Nikola Jokic was asked after the game. He was asked specifically, "Hey, what happened tonight, Nikola Jokic? Can you put your finger on it?" And he said, "Quote: They beat our ass."
I would say, now let me say this. My one analysis is they allowed the Timberwolves to play defense last night against Jokic. They allowed them to hack the ball away. There were a few times when he went up for shots, he was contested. They were banged around. And I'm not saying the referees determined the outcome of the previous three, and they certainly didn't last night. But if they get the same whistle on Sunday, they have a chance. But if they start calling every little bump and all of us, Cat didn't do anything different defensively last night than he's tried to do. Well, he might not have reached in for a really stupid foul sometime after he had two, but basically they allowed them to play defense on Jokic last night, like they did in game two when Denver whined, obviously went to them and changed it. But
Yep.
am I wrong? Don't you think that
No,
they let them play a lot more
this
defense last night?
this crew chief is the Wolves' dream for this
Yes.
series. If they get Tony Brothers or Scott
No.
Foster in Game 7, it makes their life eminently more difficult because they still need to play the same way. But they definitely that crew definitely lets them play a lot more of the style of defense they want to play without calling fouls.
And the other thing, have you guys ever attended a basketball game of any form, including 8-year-olds, where a team missed 60 shots? They missed 60 shots because Finchie even had to point that out when everybody says, "Boy, you got a lot of rebounds today," and he said, "There were a lot of rebounds to get. They missed 60 shots. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable." And
Yeah.
Murray, all of a sudden, Murray plays game two. I mean, he played game, he couldn't do a thing. And how about his comment afterwards? He was asked about Edwards. He says, who? Edwards, like,
Yeah.
He
played
kind of
great
say because he
defense.
hurt his elbow. He ran into Rudy on a screen, and Rudy has these pointy joints, knees and elbows,
Yes.
and Rudy kind of went down. Rudy got called for an offensive foul, if I remember right,
Yeah.
and Jamal Murray kind of doubled over with his elbow in the first half, and he had, I don't know, he attributed that to the reason why he couldn't make a basket. Now Anthony Edwards was down for like 5 minutes, motionless with a tailbone
Yes,
injury at one
right.
point,
Yes,
and
right.
he bounced back up like the Terminator. So I don't know. Everyone's
I
banged
bet
up at
his
this
rear
point.
end. I bet his rear end is sore today, though. Anthony, that he did hit the court pretty hard last night. So, I mean, he'll be ready to go. But now, uh, I have no idea. I can't believe you. You were confident yesterday. I don't know if you were confident that they might lead by 50 at one point, but
Didn't think we were going to
you
get
were
10 minutes of
confident.
Luka Garza on the back end of that
No.
game. No.
And Luca looked damn good. We got to start giving Luca more time during the regular season,
Shoot.
I'd say. Instead of Kyle Anderson. Get Kyle Anderson the hell out of here, although he wasn't as rot. He
How
wasn't
about
as
your guy
rot.
Jaden? Jaden McDaniels last night, 21 points, absolutely 8 of 10 from the field.
Most coaches give you just blabbering BS and you hear this stuff and you don't think it. But Finch is absolutely 100% when he says, look at Jaden McDaniels, and that's the way we played tonight. He's kind of their roadmap to whether they're playing a good game or a bad game. Whether he's sitting down in the corner going 1 for 6 and nobody's paying any attention to him, or if he's
Yeah.
doing what he did in game 2 and what he did last night, and also in the was it the Phoenix playoff game that he basically won all by himself. One of them when he just went nuts was it game 2 of the Phoenix
Hmm.
playoff series when he just dominated them. And has anybody done a psychological study on what's going on with him? He's a weird kid, isn't he? I mean, I don't think he's weird in a bad way, but it's his mental involvement drifts, to say the least. But last night he was great. He
Yeah.
was.
Pat, you remember the Spurs from 15 years ago, like the first version of the Spurs kind of molding into the second version of the Spurs. And they had that guy named Bruce Bowen, who was
Oh
always
yeah.
top 3 defensive player of the year. But he'd score like 7 or 8 points. His job was to just play defense. And my question about Jay McDaniels is he gonna be Bruce Bowen making $25 million, which like there's a place for Bruce Bowen on a championship team, or is he a diet Kawhi Leonard? Because he can score at every level, and if he inserts himself, he can score 20 points. But it depends on like who he wants to be on any given night.
Yeah, and I think sometimes he feels ignored, so he just allows them to ignore him. Don't you think that's it? I don't know. It's weird. But the other weird thing about last night is Cat had 10 points and he was great. He played great. No stupid fouls, and he played wonderful defense, and he was a teammate. And he got 13 rebounds or something like that. Now there was,
Yep.
as we said, there was a lot of rebounds to be had, but that was an amazing performance. And usually when he gets 10, you say, what's wrong with him? So it was
Yeah.
just, it was the damnedest thing I've ever watched in my life. Though it was just, I mean, it was incredible. It was
Yeah.
incredible. They were ahead by 50, for God's sakes. Is
I
that,
know.
what is it? What second largest margin in a survival game ever in the NBA or something like
Oh,
that?
was it? I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
50,
mean it was.
50 points.
Yeah, they were up. They beat them by 45, and hell, when did Malone pull the plug? 10 minutes to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah,
Yeah, it was, which was a
yeah,
smart move.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're real quick before we get to the Scottie Scheffler update here. Why don't you tell the audience on this Friday how'd you get that car, Pat, or where would you
I
recommend
just
people road trip get a car from?
I should put the top down here and show you guys what a beautiful day it is out here in this convertible. But yes, it's a Brett Paul Valley Group of GM dealers vehicle that I'm driving out to the hinterlands in today on this gorgeous day, and I'm glad I haven't. I've bought my last 5 or 6 cars from the Valley Group of GM dealers in Apple Valley, and I'm always satisfied with the service, always satisfied with the deal I'm allowed to make. And right now, full access to all the models now. That wasn't the case 2 3 years ago, coming out of the pandemic, or even a couple of years ago. But right now, we got low interest rates. You got factory rebates. You got Sierra trucks. If you're looking for the heavy duty truck, they have They have Yukons. They have Hummer EVs. I'm trying to get Suchi Boy in one of those. I don't think that'll happen.
You imagine?
But anyway, right now interest rates low, stock high. Go out there and make yourself a deal and drive around in the summer in a new
Yeah.
vehicle from Valley Group of GM dealers. And check them out at valleygroupofgmdealers.com.
Yeah. Okay, so you said at the beginning of the episode, after you saw the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets by 45 plus points last night, there's nothing that can happen to Scottie Scheffler that would surprise you.
No.
What if I told you that Scottie Scheffler was arrested and charged with a felony this morning, 2 hours before his tee time?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, I am.
So Scottie Scheffler was arrested and booked for second-degree assault of a police officer. And here's what happened, all right? Here's what happened. So tragically, a separate incident this morning when it was still dark out, some sort of a charter bus ran into a pedestrian near the golf course entrance point, and there was a fatality. I think the pedestrian got killed. It was very tragic. And so there was a bunch of police cars and stopped traffic, but the golfers are trying to get into Valhalla,
make their
right?
tee times, right?
So Scottie pulls up behind some traffic and it's not moving, and he kind of goes around the stopped traffic and a couple police cars to turn into Valhalla.
Yes.
And a police officer jumps like attaches himself to the car to stop the car because no one can get through here, right? And so Scottie drives another like 15 or 20 yards with this police officer attached to the car, finally kind of pulls into the entrance point of Valhalla, stops his vehicle, rolls down the window, police officer grabs him by the wrist, opens the door, shoves him up against the side of the car, puts him in handcuffs. Jeff Darlington, an ESPN reporter, was in like a car behind this, watching this happen. He gets out, starts filming the whole thing. They didn't know it was Scottie Scheffler. They just thought it was somebody trying to bypass this police detail. But they booked him. They brought him in. They put him in an orange jumpsuit and took a mugshot, charged him with a second-degree felony and a bunch of third-degree charges. He gets out, puts on his golf clothes, 30 minutes to warm up, and he just teed off, Pat.
Really? So, but they did. So he was going to get to the course 3 hours early and hit some balls and putt and stuff, huh?
And they delayed all the tee times by an hour just to figure out like the chaos outside the golf course.
How many other golfers didn't make it? Did some others not make their tee times?
I think everyone made their tee times.
I think they all did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So what didn't he? Scott, I take it the cop isn't a golf fan, huh?
No.
Evidently not.
Because he said I'm Scottie Scheffler. The guy said, "Yeah, I only know guys from Live." Or is that what he said?
Yeah.
Or what?
So he did. Apparently, there's video. There's video of the interaction, and so Scottie like looks over at Jeff Darlington and says, "Can you help me?" He's just in cuffs.
And wow, unbelievable. So the video's out there, huh?
Yeah. By the way, Scottie Scheffler almost holes out for eagle on his first hole of the day. Crowd is the strongest we've seen in a long time. This is going to be some day of golf.
And he did that yesterday. He
hit
it in. He made an eagle there yesterday and hold it out. He didn't make a putt all day yesterday, and he was 4 under because I think he's holed out now like 14 times or something. It's incredible. But God, yeah, I am surprised. Okay, you're right. Even after last night's game, I'm surprised that we got a cop that's surrounding Valhalla at this time should have some awareness that there's players trying to get in the golf course. But,
don't the golfers' cars get some type of, I don't know, do you think there'd be something saying, I'm a professional golfer?
Well, usually, like the old deal used to be if Lexus was a sponsor, they'd all be driving Lexuses up there, that they were given for the tournament and stuff like that. I don't know what the situation is, but yeah, that's a little surprising.
Yeah. In fact, if you were to rank every athlete in the history of you covering sports by
Yes,
least likely to be arrested for a
yes.
felony, where would Scottie Scheffler
It
rank?
would be, he would be, because he's the greatest, on the greatest run since Tiger Woods, and he tries his damnedest to be boring, doesn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
he works very hard at boredom, and it's interesting that he just had a baby. And I thought maybe, I thought maybe it would be something really, getting drunk and getting in a bar fight or something. But I don't think he does that.
By the
Unbelievable.
way, as Dan Lebitard just tweeted, we now have the video evidence needed for police reform.
Oh, really? The guy just went crazy, huh?
If this had been Phil, you know what? He'd still be in jail because no one would go to help him out.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mickelson? Yeah, yeah.
Mickelson would have, first of all, he would have melted down. It
Oh
would have
God,
been.
yes.
I mean, Scheffler seems as even keel
Did
as
he?
it possibly
Did he
gets.
not? He not. Scheffler didn't go crazy even when the guy
Was his
was
helmet
doing
No.
down?
all that stuff.
No, in fact, the best video is when he shows up. So
Well,
he puts his golf
why is he arrested for assault then?
because the police
Yeah.
officer attached himself to the car and he kept driving for 20 yards.
Oh, okay.
He
All
he
right.
said he didn't know it was a police officer. He just thought like
Some
someone's
goofball
attached to
fan.
my car right now.
Wow.
Oh man.
And yeah, I got a hunch these charges aren't going to go very far, but who knows?
No, probably
It's
not.
Kentucky, but unbelievable,
So
unreal. So what happened Sunday, boys? Denver's 5, by the way. People are not. I heard Denver's a 5-point favorite.
yeah.
Oh,
It's so hard to predict. It's just you remember when the Houston Rockets missed 27 straight threes in a game 7? Like literally anything crazy can happen
Oh God,
in a
no.
game 7.
It's well, how about this whole postseason? I mean, the Knicks lose by 40, then they win by 30. Now they're going back to Indy and they're going to lose by 30 again because they don't have any other players. And
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson's got to be on, you know, oxygen at all times to get him, because Tibbs is trying to kill him. So it's the playoffs are just unbelievable right now.
Yeah.
This
It's a
is
blast. I think you're going to get a runaway Scottie Scheffler win on Sunday by about 42 strokes and a 42-point victory one way or the other in this game 7.
a lot depends on the whistle. I hate to
yeah.
be that guy, but it definitely last night they let them play defense and they played great.
Yeah.
They played great. So
Yeah.
all
Well,
right,
Pat,
gents.
safe travels.
Yeah.
Obey any sort of police
I just
situations.
obey the detour sign. I try to get around it, but maybe it was a premonition that don't mess with the cops. So
No, be careful.
all right. See
All
you.
right, there he is.
Bye.
Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold, investment consultants, Mr. Money Talk.